Go away. Young, please go get your kids and come another day. Another day.
Kids. Look at
all kinds of kids. It's CHKD night at Harbor Park. And Ed Young is playing the role of babysitter.
I ain't got to take not a one of them home. I don't claim none of them on my taxes. And I knocked a couple out of the way to get in the pizza line.
All the kids, they love the coach and they love Tides baseball. And hopefully the one day they'll love and watch 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Go Diamondbacks. Yeah.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Good Saturday morning and welcome to another installment of 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Streaming all the time on CoVA Sports TV, where you can like, share, and subscribe. Our YouTube channel. Hope everyone there is having a wonderful weekend after Mother's Day weekend as we count down the number of days here in the month of May. A lot to go over with you on this particular edition of the program. But as always, hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe buttons on CoVA Sports TV on YouTube. You'll get notified when we go live with anything, be it our show or other live programming and sporting events and so much more through CoVA Sports TV. And we have a big announcement coming. I'm not sure we will announce it today, but it will be going into effect in June in relation to this show. I am Matthew Hatfield. I have no idea where my cohort, Coach Ed Young, is, but we have started without him. And he'll either get here or he won't get here. Or I'll go play some music on the piano, and that'll drive him crazy. But PGA Tour Championship at Quill Hollow underway, getting ready for round number 3 of that, where the long shot in Vegas is on top. You do have Matthew Fitzpatrick. You do have Kim. You do have Max Homa all coming up there. And there will be some other players that will be charging for, like Scotty Scheffler, the sports best player perhaps. And you have, in addition to that, the Preakness today. We might have a last-second join during the show who will chime in from Pimlico. We shall see. Basketball playoffs, hockey playoffs, so much more as well. But you know what? Better late than never. Coach Ed Young joins us this morning with is that the same Yankees shirt we saw you? It is. Oh my goodness.
No,
good morning, sir. How are you?
No, it's not the same one.
Duplicate? You have a duplicate. Okay.
No, this is not the same shirt. I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a division championship shirt. Division championship shirt. Okay.
I have about 20 division championship shirts. I have 15 of the 27 World Series titles that the Yankees
nobody cares.
Own.
Like Mike Tirico said, nobody cares about you sportscasters fan.
Most losers who do not reach the pinnacle will not care because they don't understand rare air. Yankees are one of those franchises, rare air.
So you're calling Mike Tirico a loser?
In basketball would be one.
Nobody cares.
Is it the Canadians in hockey with the most NHL
I believe
titles?
so. But wait, are you calling Mike Tirico a loser?
Mike Tirico is a great person.
Are you calling him a loser?
No, I would say he's I don't know him personally, so I can't really tell. Some people on the front.
Well, I want to make sure you heard what he said this week about people's fandom, because you and sometimes even me to a degree. He's called out ESPN anchors for wasting everyone's time talking about their fandom. Yeah.
Talking about
he's a big Mets fan. So they won the 86 World Series, as you well know, for the Boston Red Sox, coming from behind. And he said it was so pathetic in the 70s and early 80s that I promised myself if they won once in my lifetime, I'd move on. You start covering it nationally and realize you can't have fandom seep in. Now, people do now, and it bothers me. I don't like watching SportsCenter or other shows on ESPN where the anchors screaming A. Smith. Sorry about that. I had something in my throat. Where the anchors are talking about who they're fans of. Like, who cares? I don't care. I would much rather know the 20 seconds about something related to that team that I don't know as opposed to your fandom. So maybe that should be your goal, my goal, and everybody's goal out there. If you're in the sports broadcasting field, nobody cares if you love the Knicks or the Yankees or the Diamondbacks. Use those 20 seconds to express an interesting nugget, not chicken McNuggets. They're in action against the OKC Thunder. Thunder up, baby. Game 7 coming up on Sunday, 3:30 Eastern on ABC. But use those 20 seconds to educate. And we know about all the championships. We don't care about that with the Yankees. So why don't you use 25 seconds to tell the folks while you watched on my device last night at the ball game, Harbor Park, something interesting about your Yankees win, hanging on for dear life before the time run came to the plate in the form of Polar Bear Pete Alonso with a chance to hit a grand slam to send it to extras against your Bronx Bombers. Why don't you use the 25, 30 seconds of space, and we'll time you. Go ahead. About the game. Go ahead. You're on.
As I was saying earlier, most people will not understand or fully appreciate those that are championship material. Ahmad Gibbs, Thunder up. Yeah, I think they may win it, but I had Nuggets in 7. I'm going to stick with it. The young fellows are going to have to prove they can get through this tight feeling that they'll have today. But as I was saying, winners understand, losers and those trying to reach the peak don't. And in their frustration, they will, pull down. It's like a great man once told me. People who can't get to your level will aspire very hard to bring you down to theirs. And I leave that as such. That's for last night's Yankee game.
Yeah,
good job.
That was 125, 30 seconds. Your time is up.
Hold on, I'm talking. They got the first one in a very regular series against the Mets in Soto's return to Yankee Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And the best part of last night that I really liked in the game was Devin Williams came in and looked like the old Devin Williams, or why the Yankees got Devin Williams. And I don't think I would put him back into closer role yet, but anyways, he looked good, pressure situation, he looked good, and hopefully that will continue.
Okay.
As for the other green elephant in the room, they got blasted. They will not win back-to-back. They will not add to their legendary total as the best franchise in NBA history.
Green elephant? What green elephant are we talking about?
Boston Celtics.
Well, we didn't get to them yet. We'll get to them in a second. But my little quick, your Devin Williams point's good about his setup job in the 8th. I thought getting Jonathan Loaizaga back is a boost and bolsters your bullpen further. And Cody Bellinger, who you tend to hate on a little bit, was it not 1, not 2, but 3
yeah, he's
hits.
not having a good season.
He did well. So I think you're in the driver's seat in the AL East, but it's a long season. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Oh, yeah. No question.
I wish my D-backs from the AL East because it's not as arduous a division as the NL West is, which is the NL Best, as Tim Kirkchin told us about a month ago or so when he came on the show.
Yeah. The D-backs, I could see that because instead of being, second to last, they'd probably be third to last.
At least we can play the Rockies and beat them up. Let's get to that. You said the green elephant room. That's the basketball. And we're going to get to the Tides game, which we were at. Well, let's do it for a second now. Tides game, and you'll see some more clips from our adventure out there. They took an L, rain delay. Mr. Rogers was pitching. No, not Fred. We're talking about the not Fred Rogers. We're talking about it was Tyler Rogers, right? Or is it Trent Rogers? I keep getting my Rogerses mixed up.
Tyler Rogers.
No. I don't think it was Tyler. Was it Tyler Rogers? It was
There's too many Rogers.
There's too many Rogers. Good gosh, help me. It was not Tyler Rogers. Was it Tyler Rogers? Now I got to look it up. You got me all disheveled here. There's so many Rogerses. Nonetheless, and it was the game last night against the Jumbo Shrimp of Jacksonville, who are now 27-16, while the Tides are 15-27. But that the traffic on the base pads, the game was a 2-hour rain delay, but traffic on the base pads did not do a great job in the field, did not do a great job in terms of manufacturing, and Jacksonville jumped on them, and they couldn't quite overcome the deficit against the Jumbo Shrimp, the affiliate of the Miami Marlins. So that's what happened. Trevor Rogers. That's the Rogers, not Tyler. So there we go. We fixed that. Are you with us, or are you praying?
No, I don't know why I get messages during the show. People, if you want to ask a question,
Yeah, we have a chat box.
Yeah, do on the chat line. I'm not going to answer it on my phone. We want you to come on here.
Yeah, like Buck Moore.
Like Buck Moore. Buck Moore says, what's his two favorite guys? Coach and a brother, a friend from. Okay. Okay. Buck is good people. See, Buck came on here instead of getting me on my phone and taking.
You know why Buck is good people? Because he had to put up with you for as long as he did. That makes him good people. So yeah, that was my mini synopsis of the game last night. Tides do have some talent. I know you like Mean Machine, as we call him up there. First got at bats for them last night, but not a great pen. And I don't blame him on the pitching last night. It was simply just the traffic on the pads. Couldn't convert a couple double play opportunities that were right there, and it seemed like Jacksonville was just a step ahead coming out of the rain delay. So there you have it. Quick synopsis of the game.
My only thing is with the Tides, and I've seen maybe 6 games this year.
You've been to more than me. Yeah.
Defensively, they picked the wrong time to fall apart, and they try to throw a runner out at second last night on a first and third situation, and it's not a good throw. And here comes the guy from third. And they throw it back to the catcher to try to get him tags a little bit late. Normally teams, minor league, major league teams usually do a really good job with that. High school, they mess that up. But they usually do a good job with that because it's a play you practice like crazy. And I've said this before. We've had Tim Kirchin on here, and we talk at the major league level. They don't work on the fundamental stuff as hard as or as long as they used to. That's from the mouth of Tim Kirchin. Because I remember saying to him back when they had the shift, third baseman's in left field. Why don't they just put bunts down? It doesn't have to be whoever. And I remember Tim said that, fellas, those aren't things they really work on hard. And then he said, number 2, people don't pay big money tickets to watch players bunt, which, I love Tim Kirchin to death, but that was an asimile statement. You do what it takes to win. On that field.
Timmy had an asinine statement.
So, for guys, for being major league level and make millions of dollars and don't know, can't, or won't work on bunting, preposterous.
Before we get to that basketball and then take a break, and then we'll do more throughout the program, we've got a poll question coming up. Chance for you to interact with us on our CoVA Sports TV YouTube channel. The chat line is open to comment through YouTube, through Facebook. I'm not sure they're available through IG or the X, but if you do hit us up with a message through the IG or the X, we'll pass it on here during the show if we can see it and we have time, which we should have plenty of time. We'll get to our Preakness picks at the end, but the PGA Tour, real quick, I mentioned that earlier, the golf, have you followed one of the majors here from Quill Hollow? Scheffler is the favorite. DeChambeau, Vegas, Sin Woo Kim, Matt Fitzpatrick, Max Homa. I picked Max Homa before this thing, believe it or not. He's plus 1,800, and I might stick with him. I think he's got a shot at this. I do not think he's one of the big 3 of Scheffler, Rory McIlroy coming off his first green jacket, or Justin Thomas. Go ahead.
I don't know why, but I went with DeChambeau.
Did you? Okay. A lot of people like him. Well, his strength. Yeah.
Not sure why. Okay. But I went with DeChambeau and going from there. But it does seem sometimes in these big tournaments, it's kind of an unknown who's not really unknown. He's unknown to the general public. And we keep thinking Tiger Woods, but we're not going to see much of Tiger Woods anymore. It is these type. But I thought Rory McIlroy would be today's Tiger Woods, but I don't think that's quite worked out the way most have said or thought it would be. So, and then of course the biggest thing with golf is your PGA guys against your Live Tour guys. All that controversy about splitting for the scoring for just the money.
Kind of died down a bit, though. It's not as prevalent as it was, at least in the last couple of years, as far as a hot button topic. But you are right about that. You were floored last night as we get ready to head to break. Celtics Knicks. You were floored at that result. I was not. Games 1, 2, and 4 showed the vulnerability of Boston, and certainly when Jason Tatum goes out with the Achilles, that pretty much stuck a fork in him. Despite their rising up from the ashes, great effort in front of the home faithful in game number 5. Knicks were a slight favorite. They jumped on him, never looked back. Got very little from Drew Holiday, not much from Derek White, who had been really good. and the Knicks were off and running behind Jalen Brunson, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Josh Hart. And New York thumps the defending champs and ousts them, which leaves us with 5 teams left in the basketball playoffs. Those being Minnesota, who's moved on, Indiana, who's moved on, the Knicks. Pacers getting ready to take on the Knicks starting Wednesday, and the winner of tomorrow's Game 7, Thunder and Nuggets. You did not watch the game because you were at Harbor Park with me, but there wasn't much of a game to watch. Orange and blue skies, the Knicks have moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals and a chance to get to the NBA Finals for the first time in 26 years.
I thought it'd be closer. I was, of course, being a Celtic fan, I had that little hope that they would come back from disaster start and win this series, as most of expert America thought that they would do. It was amazing how they were down 2-0 after 2 atrocious blown lead losses, fourth quarter blown lead losses, and everybody still had them as the favorite to win not only that series, but the NBA title. Just going by potential instead of
not over OKC to win the East, but not over OKC. I don't think they were favored at that point. Although OKC might have been down 2-1 at that point, so you could be on to something once it got to that stage. But
they lost Tatum, with a ridiculous, horrible injury with the Achilles, and then that game they played, though I say they almost bordered on dirty, really showed some resolve. That
did you say bordered on dirty?
Yeah, you watch some isolated highlight film of Jaylen Brown in that game against Jason Hart. There was some hitting going on.
Josh Hart, you mean? Josh Hart.
There was some hitting going on that was not needed.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that because Jaylen Brown, to me, is not that type of player. But
I thought you meant Tatum's injury, but I got you what you're saying now. Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, they come back, and this time, the big thing about this series, the Knicks showed who they really are in terms of, I believe, more focused, more wanting it, doing what it takes. It ain't over until it's all zeros and the horn goes off. They showed that greater than anybody, which is what you want a team to show that has to fight from behind a lot. The Celtics, I'm definitely disappointed. Not so much that they lost, but how they lost. The first 2 games blowing 20-point leads in the fourth quarter, especially game number 2, because after game 1, you got to have a come to Jesus meeting as to, okay, here's why we lost, big-headed maybe, whatever. Okay, but it's done with. We let's just go out and get the next game. And the next game was exactly same way they lost the first one. I know that my meeting with that team after that would have been a whole lot different.
I hear what you're saying, but I disagree to an extent from this standpoint. The Knicks, some people believe, and I'm not taking any credit from them. They deserve this. They earned this, and they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. But in some respects, people felt they were fortunate to get by the Pistons because they could have easily won Game 4 if that foul was called in that corner through at Tim Hardaway Jr. In Game 6, they were down big and pulled it out at the very end due to Brunson's heroics and the Pistons' lack of execution. Boston became the first team in NBA playoff history to lead the first 5 games of a series by 14 points or more, and not only lose the series, but failed to even get to a Game 7 in the series. They led the first 5 games by 14-plus points. So to me, as much as the Knicks are gritty, gutty, all those things, and those are accurate and true. They made that infamous trade before the season with Karl Anthony Towns coming from Minnesota, shipping out Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo. And how ironic would it be if those two were to meet in the finals, Wolves and Knicks? Nobody had that on their bingo card or their bracket sheet. But Boston, to me, their stubbornness and arrogance, much like the Lakers, their other big franchise in professional basketball with all these championships, viewed as two of the flagship franchises, much like your Yankees are in baseball. Their unwillingness to change. We're going to keep shooting threes because we're smarter than you, analytics, we know better than you, is what bit them in the butt in the end. They missed 75 threes the first 2 games. The fact that you would take that many threes, I don't care about 3 being more than 2, with 20-plus point leads is preposterous. And it does bode, one of our questions for people to weigh in on, which exit from the NBA playoffs was worse? Boston's in the second round to winning a championship, the Lakers in the first round in 5, or the Cleveland Cavaliers, who were the 1 seed with 64 wins in 5 in the second round. People are piling on the Cavaliers, and I get it. They had 3 guys that were significantly injured in Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, and DeAndre Hunter of UVA fame, the championship, that were impacted in that series. Not to give them a free pass, and they had a great regular season with Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the year, and Evan Mobley, the defensive player of the year, and Donovan Mitchell's brilliance at times in that series. But to me, it was worse for the Lakers and the Celtics. And I would put the worst on the Celtics, despite Tatum's injury in Game 4, which really did not have a lot of bearing on the outcome of the series, just because of the fashion in which they lost as a defending champ. And then I'd say the Lakers second and the Cavs third. You might disagree that with me.
No, I think when you throw them out on the table and look at it, my eyes go towards Boston because they are the defending champ. Mm-hmm. They came in a heavy favorite. And then, as you said, pinpoint how they lost. Mm-hmm. They had leads, 20-point leads in the fourth quarter.
14-point lead in the third quarter of Game 4 on the road.
You just don't think of that. Even though I've kind of noticed, I say in the last couple of years, 20-point leads in the NBA and even in college basketball don't look safe like they used to. Back in the day, you subbing. Okay, game's over. Let's get ready for the next one. But the way they lost it is what got me. And you're right. And again, the coach will come out and me. Fellas, if we're missing too many threes, why are we still shooting threes? We have to change up. And I would like to think we have a part of our offense that is designed towards that, to try to get elsewhere. Now, somebody will say to me, well, what if your opponent is taking your drive to the lane away? Their baseline defense is excellent. You're not strong inside. Okay, we're going to have to do something. We can't keep missing threes. It doesn't matter how strong their defense is inside, how great their baseline D is. You've got to have things in your arsenal to get you a mid-level shot, if not to the rim shot. I don't care how good they are, you're going to have to try to do it. Or you're just going to hand them a game because how about making the threes? But they're not. So you don't keep taking threes. But I'm just going to go with the Celtics. I want to get all coaching X and O on people, but I think the Celtics was. You're right. The Lakers, when you look at a LeBron and Luka on a squad, you would think, boy, that's going to be pretty hard for them to lose. Mm-hmm. But they did. Well, that goes to show you got to still have some other player. Luka don't play much defense. LeBron's 41 years old.
But Luka had played defense last year, and his team got to the finals in Dallas. I told you that last year.
What he had around him.
One, not this one, yeah.
Yeah, but what he had around. Luka, I think that's why I'm not a giant Luka fan.
What he had around him? Wait a second. The Lakers were like the second favorite to come out of the West when the playoffs started. Then became the narrative changed to, they got to get more help for Bron and Luka. Wait, they were picked. They were 150 games. Everything was rosy and great. Again, young, inexperienced coaches who are too arrogant and ego-driven. I'm sorry, it's true, even though he's a Cave Spring grad. J.J. Redick, I think Jonathan Clay Redick, and then Joe Mazzulla, who won a championship last year. But again, that team was already built to make a championship run. They've been close and knocking on the door under Ime Udoka. This is the same Mazzulla, by the way. I think his first year, if I'm not mistaken, was down 3-0 to the Miami Heat, an 8 seed before they won 3 straight, and then bowed out in Game 7 on their home floor. So, yeah, he won a championship, but I think they were already there, whether he was coaching it or not. So I put it to few of those two guys. The Cavaliers is more injury related when you have Mobley, Garland, and by the way, Pacers are mighty good. We'll get into that with that series coming up against the Knicks. You have some hockey coming up, a game number 7 in the NHL with Toronto staying alive. Staying alive. No,
don't do that. We're trying to get fans, not lose them. Okay, don't do that.
Staying alive.
No, you got to understand. Woody will, before he checks in, will check out. Okay.
No, he wants to check in when we bring some pool shenanigans back.
Super E will not come in on that one when we're doing that. The fans that are on here do not come on here to hear you do some crazy BG stuff this early in the morning. Don't do that.
We'll take a timeout. You'll get to hear from some of the sponsors and watch the commercials that make it possible for us to do this show with you each and every Saturday. We'll tell you about the debut for a couple of youngsters from the 757 and give you our question of the day and our poll of the day that people can check out. It's all coming your way on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV on the YouTube channel. Follow us on the X at 757 Sports Talk. And we've got more coming your way on this wonderful Saturday, the 17th of May, the year 2025, right here on CoVA Sports TV. But now a word from those happy, peppy people. Not Vitamin Vegemin, but those that bring you this show. Stay tuned.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
As a banker at Town Bank, we believe that people bank with people, not with banks. You're looking for an actual personal relationship, and that's what you get at our bank. You get that person that gets to know you, gets to know your business, is there for you. I think that is what motivates us, what drives us. And the idea that we are trying to serve others and enrich lives, I think is very true.
Hi, this is Wayne Williams of Williams Deloach. I'm an experienced personal injury attorney, and I hope you don't need my services because I certainly don't like to see people injured on a daily basis. But in preparation for that unfortunate situation, your insurance coverage is very vital to your case. Give me a call today. I'd be happy to discuss your insurance situation for you and your family. That's the most protection you have, and you want to have that ahead of time.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. You need John Maynard. PFP, LUTCF, EA, all those initials behind his name mean he's qualified to work on your taxes. He's an ATA, accredited tax advisor. He's an ATP, accredited tax preparer. He's a fellow at NTPI, the National Tax Practice Institute. And if all that weren't enough, he's also been voted the best of Norfolk and the best of Virginia Beach awards. John Maynard has been professionally trained in tax preparation and representation. He brings to the table over 30 years' experience in federal and state returns. He delivers personalized, one-on-one service, and he's a certified electronic filer. The IRS likes electronic filers. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service, 455-6763.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Ladies and gents, feast your eyes on the vanilla bean waffle cone. All mine, and I'm not sharing. Sorry.
I don't want it. Mr. Bean, he took it from Mr. Bean.
All mine. Can't have it. He has to get his own. Because I am a selfish you-know-what.
No question about it. There wasn't kiddies watching. I would say what it is, but I won't.
Sorry.
This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Interact with us whether you're watching through Facebook, LinkedIn, Virginia Preps, YouTube, IG, X, Twitter, however it is that you're interacting with us or watching, tuning in. We appreciate you, and drop us a line, give us a hello. Any questions or comments you got, they're always encouraged and welcomed with open arms here on the program. Make sure you check out the playlist on YouTube because you can go back and watch some of the past interviews and guests we've had on, like Andrew Jones of Tar Heel Illustrated last week, Keandre Lambert-Smith out of Maury High, and Penn State and Auburn, now with the LA Chargers, Tim Kirkchin, and so many others. And we'll be getting more people, special guests, in the coming weeks of the show. We were out there last night at Harbor Park, as you just saw. It was CHKD night. You saw the kiddies to start. You'll see some Subway, or I should say Tide adventures later on in the program. But we want to get it out there while we have a chance to tell you our question of the day. Ready? Here it is. Who's the best current athlete from the 757 in pro sports? Weigh in on CoVA Sports TV. Who's the best current pro athlete from the 757? There's been a lot of great ones over the years. You think of the Lawrence Taylors. You think of the David Wrights. You think of the Bruce Smiths. You think of the Allen Iversons. But we're talking about active. Who's actively a pro athlete? Let us know. You can comment and give us your thoughts on the page. We do have a couple of pro athletes that made their debut in the WNBA last night, one of which was Isaiah James out of Princess Anne High School and NC State from Virginia Beach, and the other one being Janiah J.J. Quinterly Ed from Lake Taylor High School in Norfolk, she who started at West Virginia. They're a part of that Dallas Wings team in the WNBA. No, they're not getting all the eyeballs that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are getting. Nonetheless, WNBA had its debut last night. Paige Beckers got outdueled by her former UConn teammate, Nafisha Collier. She had 34. And Paige Beckers made her debut for the Dallas Wings, who also feature Quinterly and James. James had a steal and an assist and 6 minutes of play. It was 2 points for J.J. Quinterly and 3 minutes off the bench. So good to see them get their feet wet. I'm sure they'll have better numbers, more to come from them in the days and games and weeks and years to come. But let us know what you think about our question of the day, and you can tell us your pick for current pro. Do you have a current one that leaps to mind for you? We already got one chime in answer. Tyrod Taylor's got longevity, Derek. I agree. Would not be my first pick because he's not a starter. I think you got to be a starter to be the pick here. But I know you are partial to Brandon Lau because he hails from Nansemond River, Tampa Bay Rays. He's in the conversation, but again, I'm not sure he's my first pick.
The guy I was thinking of as you put that question out there, I started to ponder Dorian Finney-Smith for the Lakers because he was traded for in that trade, and he is a starter. And I think he had some really good games for the Lakers. And it just came to mind first because, the Lakers is, one of those teams. And he's a contributor.
That should have no bearing on this. And he was a two-time state third year at Norcom. We love Dodo. He is valuable. But here's my one little pushback on what you're going with this. He's been on 3 different teams, Mavs, Nets, Lakers. Again, productive. He's wanted, not hating on him. But if a guy just got traded, is he the best pro athlete from his area currently? It means he was traded. Now, Luka got traded. So did AD. I get it. It's a different world now when you get traded. We think of Joe Smith, all the team he was on from team to team to team, journeyman. Very, very serviceable. Was not always an all-time great or an all-star, but very serviceable. Number 1 pick, just got in the Virginia Sports Hall of Fame. We got to see him a couple weeks back. But would that be a part of the criteria that might diminish his value in the sense of being the best?
No, getting traded, no.
Okay.
No. Has no bearing on it.
I wonder if the audience out there concurs with you or sees it otherwise, but go ahead.
Now, you got to understand, when there is a connotation of when you're being traded, you're not wanted.
Right.
Well, there's a team that you're going to. Does anybody ever think about that team wanted you? Like I mentioned with Joe Smith, great that you brought us up. Somebody had mentioned that, we had put some stuff out there. They saw a picture of me and Joe, and they said, "Hey, Coach, what do you really think of Joe's NBA career?" It seemed like he was just a journeyman because nobody really wanted to keep him. And in reference to the fact that he played on 6, 7 teams. And my comment was, in all honesty, I never looked at his career that way. He was very serviceable. He was productive on the teams he was on. And I looked at it more whereas he was a want for teams, not so much teams wanted to get rid of him. Well, wait a minute. The person says to me, well, if he was that good, why did the team get rid of him? He's not a superstar. In other words, what he brought to their table, they felt they can get from somebody else. So it's not like they had to get rid of him. It was just that we can still replace what he brings to the table. Whereas the team said, we like what he does. We need what he does on this team. And Joe is a great locker room guy too, which is very important at any level, especially the pros, because you're dealing with a lot of egos. So that's why I look at that. I don't look at a person being traded a lot as, well, he's a problem. If he's a problem, you'll know that in terms of his trades. But still, there's people that want him. So it's like, okay, if he's a problem, somebody likes what he brings to the courts or to the fields. They don't like maybe his personality, and maybe they think they're the team that can fix that, and then he gets traded again. That Joe Smith was not under that category.
Okay. And that's all fair. I'm thinking of some other guys that are from the 757 currently. We had a bunch of guys that got drafted.
Who we have in football? Who we have in football? Because that's usually
active. I'm trying to think that's active.
Besides Tyrod Taylor,
Jalen Holmes, Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat might be the pick now with my Arizona Cardinals.
He had a good Super Bowl with the Eagles. Yes,
heck of an impact. And again, I wouldn't have had him as the first selection maybe a year or two ago. But Sweat's just got handsomely paid. He's got to be right up there. And then in terms of the baseball, see, this is the thing. When you say from the 757, this is always a gray area for me. Are we talking about guys that played college here or just high school? And if you open up to the whole state, and that's a totally different conversation that could take us down all kinds of roads and detours and shortcuts.
I think a lot of times how that question is answered is how good is the guy? In other words, if he went to college in the 757 and he's having a great pro career, hey, he's a 757 guy.
No doubt.
But if he, the way I look at it in all honesty, he played his high school ball here.
That's kind of how I view it. But tell that to an Old Dominion or a Norfolk State fan, and they will want to bite your hand off. Okay, so I'm not going to tell that to them because they get very sensitive about that. Now, not that I'm worried about their sensitivity level as far as how my life goes, but it's not worth to me spending hours and hours and hours, hashing it out and figuring out, oh, is this fair, not fair. But yeah, that's a fair way of describing it because a lot of people feel that way if they're that passionate about it, or he's been or she's been. It can be a female too. By the way, that's another thing. Who's the best female athlete from the 7x7? She's not playing anymore, but Sugar Rogers had a heck of a run. Elizabeth Williams, heck of a run. And matter of fact, Elizabeth Williams, who I look at her career statistically, Ed, she's been in the WNBA now since 2015. Very long run. Chicago Sky. She's played in 287 games. She's been an all-star, improved. I think we forget just how good she is.
Very, very, very dominant high school player in the area in the past. Very good college career. And now she has, I think, more than a good WNBA career. The thing with the women is we quickly go to the WNBA. We can't go to the NFL. There's no Major League Baseball for women. There's softball, but most of America doesn't embrace it as a true Major League sport. We look at WNBA and then we figure, okay, there's nothing else. Don't forget now, tennis, track, individual sports that usually don't get a lot of the light because the 757 has produced tons and tons and tons of great female track performers as well as some males too. But we tend not to look at that. We've had Olympians, gymnasts. We've had a few gymnasts come out of the 757. But again, our eyes go towards, for the guys, football, basketball, baseball. Then the women, we say, well, we can't use two of those three. So we look at WNBA, then we figure we don't have anybody. But there's other individual sports that 757 has produced.
Yeah, it's true. So let us know what you think right here on CoVA Sports TV. And if you're watching through Facebook, if you're watching through any of the channels, let us know. YouTube too. Who is the best current athlete from the 757 in pro sports? I'm going to go with Josh Sweat until someone refreshes my memory of somebody else. You, sir, are you going with Dorian Finney-Smith? Or are you going?
I'm going to stay with Finney-Smith.
Okay.
Josh Sweat probably go number 2 for me. I think I'd go Brandon third. Brandon's what now, 30, 31. It's hard for me to think he's that old. When I used to watch him running across the gym floor in school. He's dealt with some injuries. He is a senior citizen for Tampa Bay.
Senior citizen?
Still doing what he does. I think
senior citizen is pretty strong.
Yeah, for the Rays, I think Diaz, first baseman, is the oldest. I think he's 33. I think they have 3 guys in their 30s on that squad. He's one of them. And in terms of service, he's an original. His whole career has been with the Rays, so they look at him, I think, in that manner. He's a 245-ish hitter, has shown some power in the major leagues, versatile in the field. He's a glue guy. He's definitely a glue guy for the Rays. And the Rays are not winning much as they have in the past. But I would say Brandon is solid. He's not an outstanding great career. For somebody to say that who's never played professional sports is crazy, but he has done very well for himself and has been a factor for Tampa Bay. So he would be probably that third one right now. The reason I mentioned Josh Sweat is I keep thinking how well his Super Bowl year with the Eagles was, especially playing in the Super Bowl. So, and usually say he cashed in on a big contract with that too. Now, can he step up into the elite status lineman that we talk about his name almost every week? And he's in the backfield almost every time for your Arizona Cardinals.
You know who also was doing really well until he got injured was our pal Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah from the Cleveland Browns out of Bethel High School and was ACC Defensive Player of the Year from Notre Dame. And the injury that he sustained last year sort of curtailed some of his success. Remember, he only played 8 games last year, but 16 games the full season before, was a Pro Bowler, was over 100 total tackles, very productive. And he's still in the prime of his career, 25 years of age. And we watched him slip a little bit in the draft as he fell to the second round, I think it was, to Cleveland when people thought he'd be maybe a top 15, top 20 pick. So he might be the answer, a year from now. There's not a lot of, we had that great run of Major League Baseball players from Hampton Roads, the Uptons, the Kadires, Zimmerman. We do have Chris Taylor still, Vinny Pasquantino from the Royals. Obviously, he's got Old Dominion ties. You think of the Jake Caves. There's been some guy, Daniel Hudson, who hails from Princess Anne. It's not as long a list as when we had that real great run of super level players. Like I said, the Wrights, the Zimmermans, the Kadires, but there's still a few out there that are in the in the mix. We don't have one that's really. You don't have that again. That Bruce Smith, Allen Iverson, Alonzo Mourning, hands down. Even Cam Chancellor, we had his nephew on recently here in Keandre Lambert Smith. That is a no-brainer pick. I think it's an interesting discussion. I do.
Yeah, I just think it's kind of cool from living here. I'm not a 757 original myself. I'm a Pennsylvania kid that came here, but to see our area produce when we don't have, we're not Los Angeles, New York City, Miami, Chicago, Boston, but when you put the 757 city area together, we kind of can hold our own, but it's still smaller groups of smaller cities. Mm-hmm. The number of percentage that we have out of here is pretty cool because I understand, because I've had people say to me, you guys down 757 think you own the sports world. You're not the only ones that have, how many professional athletes have come out of Atlanta, LA. I said, I get all that. I no question. Detroit, yes. But I said, you got to think of what the 757 is in terms of 7 small cities coming together. It's still a smaller area to pick from. And we've had, not only have they been good, they have been known in their profession. That's the other thing. You can have tons of athletes come out of your area and they fit in. But we've had guys that were, the main guy on their squads and that. So I think that's what's kind of neat to see. But no, I don't think that 757 is the greatest in the world, because other cities produce too. But I'm proud of what's come out of here. And if you play college, if you played at Old Dominion or Norfolk State or wherever, and you got some shine, sure. Brandon Adair is a referee in the NBA, played basketball at Virginia Wesleyan.
Yeah.
Okay. Because a lot of times when I look at referees, I always want to think, what was their athletic background to get them where they are now, especially if they're officiating at the high level. And Brandon was a very good college basketball player, and he did play his high school ball in the area too. And of course, when he got inducted into Virginia Sports Hall of Fame, he had mentioned that, he was somewhat trying to find himself in high school as a player, and probably was one of those kids that was a better college player than a high school player. And now he's making his mark as a pretty good NBA official.
Listen, we'll highlight you anyway if you've got ties from the area, give you your shine. Or if we don't give you your shine, we'll give you a shine box. Remember that from Goodfellas? Great movie.
Shine box.
Shine box. Yeah. Speaking of movies, as we head to break, somebody last night, I can't say who it was. I can't give away who the source was. But they said they called you Eddie Mush. And Ed had forgotten, I did for a brief moment until it refreshed my memory, who Eddie Mush was. Eddie Mush was none other than a character from A Bronx Tale. If you haven't seen that movie, which has got one of your twin lookalikes, Robert De Niro, go check it out. Eddie Mush, who was known for his bad luck in selections. Yeah, Eddie Mush. So we can change your name today in the blink of an eye.
Bad luck in selections.
Eddie Mush. There you go. You are now officially Eddie Mush Young.
We could put you in that category of bad.
Oh, we don't have time for those stories
in movies. And you'd probably have one of the greatest rants in movie history.
We would have to bleep out all of it, and I would be so ashamed of my behavior, but we can't do that right now. We have more important things to do, including when we come back. We got our Preakness picks, by the way, into the program. When we come back, we will give you our poll. The National Football League schedule was released, and Ed got it because, again, he's so into fandom. He had to see what his Raiders were going to do and who they can beat and who they won't beat. He had to size it up, look at it really close, and examine it. His Raiders. And by the way, speaking of your Raiders, I know you want to go see the new biopic that's coming out with Nicolas Cage as the one and only late, great John Madden. And then Al Davis is being played. Oh, gosh, help me. I just saw it, too. You have Christian Bale as Al Davis, but that movie's coming out. That's going to be a good movie. And I tell you what, Bale looks just like Davis. And I think Cage was putting a little bit of weight to be Madden. Is going to do a pretty good job at it. And that movie is worth checking out.
It's two good actors. It's two good actors who probably will hit a home run in depicting those two guys.
Yeah, Al Davis I'm not sure when it comes out, by the way, though.
Yeah, Al Davis and John Madden, two very rare individuals, very distinctive in their manners, rhythms. So that's going to be a good one. That would be a good one.
So when we come back, we have a poll that is related to the NFL schedule release, and we've got more coming your way here in hour two. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk, powered by CoVA Sports TV. Hit that comment and chat box, and we'll be back with more right here in just a bit. Stay tuned.
What makes a life a good one? Is it our adventures? Or the friends we find along the way? Is it the challenges we conquer together? Maybe it's the people's lives we touch every single day. So, what makes a life a good one? You'll have to figure that one out for yourself.
What is more? Is it more reps, more strength, more stamina? We say it's all of that, but it's greater than just what's in the mirror. It's about improving your mental and physical health. More is a feeling of achievement, fulfillment, confidence. It's looking better, feeling better, being better, and it's our mission to get you there. Because here, you are more. One Life Fitness.
Portco is your local nonprofit organization dedicated to economic empowerment through employment for people with disabilities. We focus on abilities, not limitations, providing on-the-job vocational support. Find your pathway to employment. Contact us or learn more at portco.org.
Well, it's everybody's favorite time of year again. Time to prepare to make your annual donation to that infernal revenue service. And if you're like me, you need help. Help to keep that donation as small as possible. So get off your W-2 and call John Maynard at John's Tax Service. 455-6763.
At Rush Soccer, our love of the game and the community we create doesn't stop when we leave the pitch or when the season ends. We are more than an individual player, team, club, or league. We are a truly global community of athletes, parents, coaches, professionals, and fans. We believe that youth sports and the pathway to a lifelong love of soccer have the power to form deep, meaningful connections that will fundamentally shape our players and those in our community. We believe that what we feel is the key to what we can achieve. Feel the pride. Feel the confidence. Feel the legacy. Feel the connection. Feel the trust. Feel the acceptance. Feel the purpose. Feel the difference. Feel the rush.
At Atomic Wings, we prioritize real chicken with fresh, all-natural, never-frozen ingredients, all packed with serious flavor. Order from over 15 awesome flavors at atomicwings.com.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk.
Usually it's Hatfield. That's why I try to tell everybody, get on Hatfield. He is the legal scribe, the talking head that knows all this, puts the whammies on. We do things different on this podcast. That's why we're rated number 3 in the state.
You got Play-Doh? Get out of here! We got people all over the globe watching with us. Sitting in a phone booth with you would be very...
well, no, we got to have your own phone booth. I'm not sitting in no phone booth with you.
It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe.
It's another edition of Riding the Tide with Coach Young on this particular weekend in the month of May. What's on your mind, Coach?
Yankees win good. Celtics get destroyed.
This stop is Norfolk State University.
Why is that bad?
Please exit to the left.
I had Boston in 6.
Well, Jason Tatum got hurt.
And you're out. So now, Coach Boston's my favorite team. So I think I'm going to put forward the Knicks to win it all. But I have Denver and Indiana in the finals.
He thinks it's still the ABA, but it's the NBA. But you know what? He's living in the past, folks, because he has on a 2009 World Series championship.
I'm going to change it to 29 and be a soothsayer. Because they're going to win the World Championship in 2029. Not this year, but 229 for sure.
I was just about to say, I'm not sure we'll have Coach here to witness that momentous occasion.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Like, share, and subscribe to CoVA Sports TV wherever you may be on this particular Saturday. I am Matthew Hatfield. He is Eddie Mush Young. You gonna say anything? You just gonna sit there?
Let's see what our next topic is. I'm not just going to sit here and mumbo jumbo. People want to hear what's going on. What's news? What's shaking?
What's shaking? What's shaking, baby? As
by the way,
to the little girl in the yard when winked at her. What's shaking, baby?
Watched I saw the Riding the Tide last night.
Mm-hmm.
I was not breathing real well.
Oh, that's coming later. Hold on. Don't give that out. That's a tease. You'll have to watch part 2 of Riding the Tide, our next commercial break later in the show. So
you'll see why I was kind of taken aback.
Gasping for air.
On the question at hand.
Yeah. Okay. What do we have next? Because we do have a conversation that does not involve just you and me and involves somebody else, which will be a
well, you had the opportunity recently to get out and watch some of the high school football mini camps, off-season work.
They're more like college days, but that's close enough. Yeah, people know the difference.
Yeah, well, the football uses the disguise of, we got college coaches coming out, so we're...
They know those guys. They do come out. There's about 40, 50 of them. Trust me.
You know that, and it's tremendous, needed, and it's great. It's just an extra practice to get your practice time in, get the kiddies looked at. I get all that.
No. There's no shoulders and helmet pads and thumping and hitting going on. So what are you talking about? That's practice.
You can't use shoulder pads and all that mess until real practice starts. I get all that, but they still out there working out. I mean, all the sports are year-round sports in high school.
But you almost have, and you're going to say, no, you're taking it out of context. It almost sounds like you have a little resentment in the way you present that to the audience, and a little resentment in you.
No, it's just kind of neat how they cover up out-of-season practices, but they're all legal, so it's not a problem or a shade or whatever. There's the only times you can't practice is in the dead periods, and I think there's 4 of those. So. And one of those dead periods, you're in season. It's the other sports can't practice. So no, that's fine. I mean and it's what's needed. It's funny you kind of bring that up because I had a discussion this week. A friend of mine, we were talking about. He wanted to know my attitude on kids playing multiple sports in high school. Where did I stand on that topic? That has been in the idea of topics for forever. And I had mentioned that being a long-time high school coach, I've seen both sides of I want to see every kid should be playing as many sports as they can. I'm his basketball coach, but I want to see him play all these other sports. I'm his football coach. I want to see him play all these other sports. But I told this person that asked me, I said, in reality, because I've been in the middle of it, we say that out front to sound good. Mm-hmm. But when it's your player, stud player especially, we don't want them playing multiple sports. We need them with us, especially now that it is year-round. But I said in terms of the kid's sake at the high school level, he needs to play multiple sports. He needs to find out where his bread is buttered in terms of, I may be able to get a scholarship in this sport, whereas in the other ones I can't. So there's opportunity to move on to the college level to continue playing what he really, really enjoys playing. The problem now is with year-round practices, which has been happening for a while now. Those kids are really stretched thin. And all coaches, capital letter all, want their kid in with them when they're doing their thing year-round. Kid can't do that. If he's going to play multiple sports and have a life, he cannot give of 100% of himself. Let's say 3 sports. Kid plays football, basketball, baseball. And that coach is practicing year round. That kid is not going to be in many of those practices at all 3 of those sports. And again, what's my philosophy? That's fair that he needs to divide his time. If there's 6 days in a week, 6 possible practices, and you're playing 3 different sports, common sense, you go to 2 practices a week for each of those teams. Not 3, not 4. You go 2 max because you're giving each of those sports 2. By doing that, you're busy 6 days a week because Sundays nobody practices. Well, nobody's supposed to be practicing. Okay. So my comment to this person was there's a lot of people who pay lip service to, oh yeah, kids should be playing your different sports, let them know their self.
Your microphone's starting to get muffled. I don't know what happened. You just
but in reality, they don't really want them to play multiple sports.
Okay.
So getting back to your question of the football kids and whatever, it's cool. It's cool that they're doing that. But I get a little perturbed as a veteran coach on coaches, especially some younger ones, and it's not just limited to younger coaches who say that in the front, but in reality say to a kid, hey, man, you're going to be our starting quarterback, our starting point guard, our shortstop. You got to be in practice. You got to make a decision. Okay, I'm just telling you. But wait a minute, weren't you the coach that said the kid should be playing multiple sports, and now you're pressuring him as to – and then the coach will say, I didn't pressure him. I just said, he's going to have to be here if he – okay, but that's pressuring the kid because what the kid is hearing is, so if I don't come to summer workouts, I have trouble making the team or being a starter, whatever. Yeah, kid, that's basically what I'm saying without saying it. And that's wrong. Let the kid – what I tell parents and kids is if he's going to play multiple sports, understand this. His social time life is going to be the one that gets hurt the most because he's going to be out here for all these practices. You can't go to football practice 2 days or 3 days, go to one basketball and tell baseball, I'll see you in the spring because you need your social life and kids need a social life. You can't do that. It's really hard to juggle it. Put it. That's why you don't see it happen hardly at all in college level. And of course, Travis Hunter is going to be a two-way athlete in the NFL, but he's not playing two sports.
Is he really? Is he going to play?
I think, well, we're jumping onto a whole nother topic. I think he really, really, really wants to, and he expects to. But
Champ Bailey and Charles Woodson expected to too.
Yeah, Jacksonville's going to determine
Deion Sanders kind of tried to do it. And by the way, he was a multi-sport guy at Bo Jackson. We are jumping off. But are you glad now that you got it off your chest? You feel better? Feel better?
Yeah, but I'm like I'm saying, you're talking about that I'm throwing shade at somebody practicing. No, they're doing what they're allowed to do.
You just took that to a whole new extreme going down these pathways. I just hope you feel better. That's all. You got it off your chest.
Now, I tell you what, it's been a tough week in terms of feeling good. Muscle spasm, pull muscle, whatever I had in my back. It was so bad, people need to hear about personal life. For the first time, and I can't remember how long, I voluntarily went to a doctor to say, you got to give me something. You got to do something for this. I can't move.
Our audience thought you should go to a doctor a long time ago.
Yeah, I haven't. I didn't sleep like in 4 days. I just had to get something. I actually was hoping there was some kind of take a shot that would alleviate the pain, but instead it was a doggone muscle relaxer prescription. And it's kind of working. I feel today's my best day in the last 4 or 5. But the pain of there. Who's loved watching the show?
Our man, Nick. Let's get to our next conversation that we were going to get to before you veered off into like 260 or wherever road you took. I have no idea where you went with it, but let's get to, because we have a conversation that we were going to get to after you emptied your rant bucket. Go ahead.
Yeah, you had the opportunity. This is what I was going to get to. You obviously started interrupting, which
that wasn't me. You went on for like 6 minutes. Don't blame me. That was you. But go ahead.
Rewind the film, and we'll see why.
Film ain't no film. But go ahead.
It's only 2 times I'm ever wrong, and that's hardly and never. So come on now. You had a chance to talk with a kid from Kings Fork football team, Josh Pittman, who was pretty doggone good out there in the gridiron. As you trekked all the way to Suffolk in the college workouts or whatever they call them in football, the high school combine, stuff of that nature. But anyways, you had a chance to talk to this young man who's headed on to Virginia Tech. Thank God he's staying in state. I love it when I see our local athletes stay in state. But let's see what you and the young Mr. Pittman had to say right here on CoVA Sports TV.
All right, here with Kings Fork Edge rusher and Virginia Tech commit Joshua Pittman as his team's working out for the upcoming season. Hard to believe you're now getting ready to be a senior, but congratulations. You're committed to the Virginia Tech Hokies. Tell us about your staying in state to play for VT. What made you choose them?
Just the culture, man. I love Virginia Tech, man, what they bring to the table, man. Just everything about them, man. They show me a lot of love. Great atmosphere there, man. Coach Pry doing a great job building the culture up there, man. I'm happy to be there, man. I'm ready to work.
Now, you play at Kings Fork. I'm sure you heard about it if you didn't already know about Chuck Clark coming from this school, going to Virginia Tech, making the NFL. How much do you have dreams like he did to be the next one from the school, to make a legendary mark, if you will?
Right, yeah. He plays in the NFL, man, so I definitely look up to him a lot, man, and I try to be my best as I can to be like him and just strive for to be the best.
Spoke earlier with Coach Joe Ferron about you've been starting since your freshman year, and you played inside backer. You're now putting your hand in the dirt a little bit more, playing some DN outside backer. How's that transition gone from you kind of learning new spots of the defensive front seven, and how have you adapted?
Yes, I mean, it's been an easy transfer for me. Learning how to play linebacker and both DN spots is new. But I feel like I'm learning to the best of my abilities, and I'm glad to be DN.
Sure. Now, Hokie fans, once you join the Brotherhood of Virginia Tech, you become one of theirs, and they put on your highlight tape. They're going to be following every move that you make. What are they going to see and others going to see from your tape previously, and what are they going to see new this year in your game?
A lot of more standing up, more linebacker reps, dropping in coverage, and a lot more pass rushing. I'm getting out there, quarterback, getting more sacks, and yes, sir.
What did you have last year in terms of the TFLs and sacks? Did you keep an eye or number?
I had about 14 sacks and about 27 TFLs.
What's the goal for that this year, and how do you go about getting those numbers?
Trying to get 20 sacks this year, just working with my coach and correcting my craft and just trying to get better.
Sure, come on, let's run. Who's the guys you like watching on Saturdays and Sundays on NFL and football? Who you like to model your game after defensively?
My favorite guy to watch, I would say Micah Parsons and Aiden Hutchinson, kid from the Lions.
There you go. And lastly, for Joshua Pittman and the Bulldogs to take that next step and go to the state playoffs, what's it going to take for you and your squad? You got a lot of good pieces coming back, and I'm sure you guys will be in that hunt in Class 5.
Just taking coaching and learning. We got a lot of new players, learn a lot of new spots, but we're going to get there, and I feel like this year's the year. We're going to work, and we're going to get after it.
He's hitting people on defense for the Kings Fork Bulldogs. The Hokies commit Joshua Pittman. Thank you so much. All the best. Good job, man. Appreciate it.
So good to hear from Josh Pittman of the Kings Fork Bulldogs, who discussed the upcoming season and why he chose the Hokies of Virginia Tech. And by the way, a lot of ACC schools starting to invade. We've seen Wake Forest in the last couple of years. North Carolina's got a history from its days prior to Bill Belichick of recruiting the area. But Virginia Tech's had some competition for in-state talent. In Syracuse is now offering kids left and right. I mean, like 10 to 15 a day, it feels like. So they're trying to get their paws and fingerprints all over the 757, Edward. And they've got a guy from our area in Elijah Moss, Washington, from Lake Taylor, who's playing tight end for them. But what do you think? Pittman going to be one of those top defensive guys we're watching and talking about all year long?
You know, the big thing when we try to answer those questions is what's inside the kid's head. It's amazing how kids will get themselves to a situation where they get an offer, a scholarship, and then some of them, the drive drops. Some of them, they go crazy with it, and now maybe someday you'll see them playing in football on Sundays to get paid. We mentioned Josh Sweat a few minutes ago. Josh was a tremendous high school player, pretty good in the college level, and now he's starting to make a niche for himself in the NFL. With Pittman, I mean, the kid looks like he has a great frame, good size, and if he's got quickness off that edge, where he can be in the backfield one moment, he can cover a tight end receiver or back out of the field on a pass pattern, being very athletic on the field and showing that. And showing a crazy work ethic, then that kid's going to be playing on Sundays too. And this is kind of deviating a little bit from what I'm just saying. Another reason why I worry about NIL money, because when the kids get the money into college now, I think what we're going to see is some of those kids not being as hungry to get better and better because they were working hard to get better and better for an NFL or Major League Baseball or NBA, whatever their sport was, to get that big contract or get paid. Or if they're getting paid now in college, I sometimes will start to wonder, well, how hard will they continue to work? Will they just kind of level off and maintain, or will they keep striving? But I look at Pittman in your interview, just watching him. The kid has a frame on him. Looks like he has that type of personality that really wants to do something. But it's a lot. What's really, really in their head? Who is their surrounding? Who are they around a lot? If it's people pushing them instead of just glad handing them, talking how great they are, that's a detriment. That's really a detriment, including family. That's a detriment. You always got to make sure that kid is striving to get better and better. I don't know. That's something that I look when you do these interviews with these kids. It's something that I'm watching. I'm looking at that kid and I'm thinking, what's really in his head, even during your interviews? How does he feel? Because, to get pinpointed as a kid to be interviewed is something special, because you could have been anywhere interviewing anybody, but you're giving this kid maybe his first real interview. And those kids kind of like, yeah, stick that chest out. I got interviewed, which is why, like, something that I did in my coaching time is we prep kids on interviews, how to get interviewed, what you're probably going to be asked, what you should avoid saying back, but be yourself, but don't get caught, so to speak, in an interview. You're not a person that interviews people to get them caught. You're just asking. You ask really.
No, we're not trying to get the gotcha questions, but you'll get a chance to hear from some more standouts in the 757, like Nansemond River quarterback Tyrell Grant, Oscar Smith defensive back Jaden Koval, Deep Creek defensive end Trayvon Litton. And yeah, we're going outside the Southeastern District to Elijah Moss Williams from Maury, and there will be some others that we sprinkle in the upcoming episodes as we move the show from May into the month of June. But you heard him talking about.
I'm gonna, based on interviews, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
In all your times of interviewing these high school kids,
sure,
strictly high school, do you see a difference in the athlete in terms of are you interviewing them as a football kid, a basketball kid, a baseball kid, a track kid, whatever? Do you see football kids are more gregarious, more outgoing on the interview, or baseball kids are more laid back. It's a lot of yes, sir, no, sir, or is that just individual kids?
I think it varies. I mean, look, there are some you can tell the minute you're into an interview if he or she is not feeling it, and there's some, it doesn't matter what you ask them, they're just going to talk a little bit. So I think it varies. I haven't noticed a big difference lately. I'll tell you what I have noticed, and you'll see this in one of the interviews coming up. I don't want to say which one. Now the kids, especially with social media, they look at us as coach. I had an interviewee call me coach 4 or 5 times. I've never coached a day of my life outside of the 2 rec league games I won for Great Neck Girls Basketball. I am 2-0, Edward Young. That's right. You call me Coach Hatfield. But that's the funny thing now is they look at everybody in this field as coach. And maybe it's the brain thinking they want offers, they want to. I don't know. But that is the only thing I've noticed. And that's not every kid. There's been a couple I've come across that look at it that way. So I do think social media has impacted this greatly because their way of communication for student athletes now with their coaches or reporters or whoever is through their devices. That's what it's through. It's almost not picking up the phone or face-to-face. There are some face-to-face. And the money aspect with the big name, the 4 or 5 star level players, the top of the line, the like we saw mentioned Jarek earlier, Tyrod Taylor, the Travis Johnsons of the world, because he's probably the best in the area this year from Oscar Smith. A lot of it's going to be, how can you be compensated fairly for your name, image, and likeness, and for your worth? And I don't fault the athlete that's where we are now. It's the system, which I try to tell you time and time again, when it feels like, at least from people that have commented, you're throwing it at them as if they created this monster. They didn't create this monster. The NCAA and the system that we have, or systems that we have, created this monster. So don't blame student athletes. Just like I'm not going to blame said coach. And by the way, you being the coach, there are people that get mad when said coach could just get up and leave and take a job at a better place, and those athletes were not getting compensated. Some people blame Jay Billis. Some think it's Jay Billis' fault. There are people that believe Jay Billis is to blame for all of this. I don't think he's to blame for all of this, but he was very outspoken about all of this. I will say that.
Ed O'Bannon went to court.
Yeah.
Sonny Vaccaro opened up a case against the NCAA with Ed O'Bannon being his lead witness, because Ed O'Bannon, UCLA player, basketball player, was done with UCLA, but he kept seeing his jersey being sold, number and name. See, if it's just a number, you can't really claim it. But if your name is on that jersey, that's you.
Yes.
And he was not getting a dime for it, but yet UCLA was making money off of it. That's kind of the genesis of all this. When the courts started really listening and said, wait a minute, you're making money on these people and they're not getting nothing out of it?
No.
That's not legal. We can't do that. And that's kind of where here we went. But the system wasn't not corralled from the start, because it is out of hand. And you do get kids. It's because this is people in general. I signed $1 million contract. I'm thinking next, how can I sign a $2 million? Wait, you just signed $1 million contract. You're not happy? Kids get a little bit big-headed where they feel like, oh, I'm worth this, I'm worth that. Son, you don't even take the garbage out at home on your chores when you're supposed to.
How dare you?
And you're worried about money.
Yeah.
That's what the system has created. But the kids and people around them have pushed them into. So they don't learn them the way they should be learned.
I was trying to segue earlier before you got me off on a tangent, which you're so effective at from time to time, that Josh Pittman talked about Chuck Clark. He made the pathway from Kings Fork to Virginia Tech to the National Football League, where he's battled through some injuries, but has carved out a nice career for himself in the league, spending most of his time with the Baltimore Ravens, spending last year with the New York Jets, where he played 12 games, and he's currently a defensive back for the Jets, and it consisted of over 450 tackles, 5 interceptions, 6 forced fumbles, and 4 fumble recoveries. And speaking of the Jets, they, like the other 31 teams in the National Football League, know who they're playing from week to week coming up in the season. And because pro football dominates the entire sports landscape, it can be Preakness Saturday, it can be Stanley Cup Final Day, it can be NBA Championship Day, it can be any day. World Series football is what makes the world go round and round and round and round, no matter how much the basketball coach Ed Young likes it or lumps it. We have to throw up a poll question. It has to do with the NFL schedule being released, and it's on our 757 Sports Talk Twitter or X page. Would you like to read that, Sir Edward? Do you need to get the bifocals, or can you read it?
I'm going to have to get the bifocals. Well, no, I can't read with glasses. I have to have use my real eyes. The NFL 2025 schedule was released earlier this week. Which NFL team will go the longest without suffering a loss? You're going it's either Bills, Chiefs, or Eagles, or name somebody else. So basically, people out there that are reading this, who do you think among the Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, or said other team will go the longest before suffering a loss?
Well, and we use those 3 teams because 2 of them played in the Super Bowl, the Soupy Bowl, which the Eagles won over the Chiefs. It was Josh Sweat's then Eagles beating Derek Notty's then Chiefs. And by the way, speaking of one Derek Notty, he's the only guy we did not bring up in our conversation, as he's now a member of the Jets with Chuck Clark. Nonetheless, the Buffalo Bills were close, but no cigar. Sorry, Commanders fans, we didn't put you up on the list, but you can cast your vote for other and say the commies or the Commanders. And we had the Bills up there because they have the shortest odds, and they are favored to win every game this season by a couple of the gaming sites, believe it or not. So we could go through some schedules before we take a break here, or you can give us your opinion on this matter, but you're allowed to vote. It's the American way. Vote. And you're not voting for Trump or Harris or Trump or Biden or Bush or Gore. You're voting for Bills, Chiefs, Eagles, or other. Who are you voting for, Ed Young?
Without really getting into their schedules, because I haven't really seen them.
Well, you can. We have time. I'm allowing you to do it if you'd like, because I know you're very meticulous in your ways.
My first reaction to these 3 teams was the Buffalo Bills. If you want to pull up a Bills schedule, I can tell you where their first loss will be, and we'll see what week it is.
It might be week 1, though, Sir Edward, because right out of the chute, right out of the gate on NBC, 8:20 at night on September 7th, prime time, they host the Baltimore Ravens. Then they go to those Jets, with Chuck Clark and Derek Nottie. They host the Dolphins. They host the Saints. They host the Pats. 3 straight home games, believe it or not. I'm walking on air. No. Then they go to the road to take on Atlanta, October 13th. They're at the Falcons, get a week off, go to the Panthers, October 26th. Open up November at home against the Chiefs, at the Dolphins, host the Bucks, at the Texans, at the Steelers, host the Bengals, at the Pats, at the Browns, host the Eagles, and then close out the regular season against those Jets, Jets. Yes, Jets.
They're not going undefeated.
I didn't say they were, but that's the schedule.
No, you said there's a couple.
I said the first game they could lose to the Ravens. They could lose that game. They lost to them last regular season to be in the playoffs.
In fact, that might be their toughest of their first 4 or 5 games. That might be their toughest game, even though the key is it's in Buffalo. That's Baltimore's pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I want to say I'll stick with Bills winning that only because it's at Buffalo. But again, home field in pro football, to me, is not quite the same as it is in college football.
I'm glad you figured that out. That pro football is not the same as college football. That's very perceptive of your
home court advantage, home field advantage. College means more on home court advantage than the pros.
Wait, does it? Are you sure about that?
No question.
I'm gonna make sure I have one of my analyzers go look and see if college football's. Matter of fact, you know who I'm gonna get to do it. I'll have to hit Phil Steele up about this. Whose book is, by the way, if you want to be a VIP member, you can order it. We'll get Phil on the show here next couple of months. I'm sure to not only hawk or promote his book, as people like to say, but to dissect college football, which he does better than anybody in the country. But I'd be curious to see if, in fact, home field has a greater win percentage than the NFL. I would think you're probably right, but I don't know that you're definitely right.
You could save yourself a lot of wasted energy. It is a definite. It's not my opinion. It's a fact.
You sure?
Yes.
You are so positive that if you are wrong. Wait. You are so positive that if you are wrong, you will do what?
Hold it. If I'm wrong, I'll shave my head and run naked down Main Street.
Whoa! Clip that, guys.
I just took the
I
dumb
hope
words
you're
out
wrong.
of your mouth.
I really hope and pray you're wrong. Shave your head and run naked down Main Street. Wow.
Eating an ice cream cone after I run off the tide.
Wow.
And I'll run off the tide doing it.
Whoa. Oh, I hope the road teams in college football have been great the last several years. I really do. Wow.
Now, let's go into more important things. Pull up the Chiefs schedule.
Well, we will do that. Well, that's the poll question. And as I pull up that Chiefs schedule, I'm glad you made such a declaration on the show. You got people that were falling asleep now wide awake because they can't believe it what you just said. They are, as they like to say, Ed, they are flabbergasted at what you just said. One moment, and I will have that Chiefs schedule for you on the screen for everybody to see, including you, here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV. We are all just absolutely floored at what you just said moments ago. Well, we got to zoom in, though, for you. This is the Kansas City Chiefs schedule. They host the Los Angeles Chargers. They host the Eagles at the Giants, host the Ravens at the Jags, host the Lions, take on your Vegas Raiders. That is a tricky schedule out of the chute. Then they have Washington at Buffalo, the bye week, at Denver, who's got a pretty darn good defense. Sean Payton over there. Colts at Dallas, Houston, LA at Tennessee, Denver at Vegas. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to shock you on this one. This one's going to really stun you. I'm not 100% convinced they're winning that division this year. And they've dominated and owned that division for several years now.
Well, I can't remember which expert said it, but they predicted you will start seeing the Chiefs. It was during the Super Bowl after they lost. Mm-hmm. That they're going to start coming back into reality where it's not a given they're going to win the West all the time. Everybody's fighting for second. They're going to come down. And I remember thinking to myself, is Mahomes retiring or something? Is he going to get hurt? I think he's still at the pinnacle of his career. Now, again, in football, it's not just one person, but the NFL is so quarterback driven. You got to have a super if you think you have a chance for the Super Bowl. And
Let's
they've
look at
got
the Eagles' schedule now. So the Eagles' schedule consists of, out of the gate, Dallas on that NBC Peacock opener on Thursday, September the 4th. Then you have at KC. So right out of the gate, one of those two is going to be knocked off. Nobody, unless they have a tie. One of those two is going to have a loss after 2 weeks of play. Eagles or Chiefs.
Yeah.
Then they have the Rams, the Bucks on the road, Denver at the G-Men, at the Vikes, host the Poor Giants. They got to play the Eagles twice in a span of 3 weeks. That's not good. Bye week, they go to Lambeau and Green Bay in November on a Monday night. Detroit at Dallas, Chicago at the Chargers, Vegas at Washington, at Buffalo, host Washington. Those last 3 games will be meaningful for the Eagles in some respects. It could be for home field, could be for division. Certainly expected to be for seeding purposes, taking on the Commanders and the Bills over the last 3 games of the season. I'll say this. I think the Eagles will be good again. Got to replace some guys on defense. I'm not entirely convinced that they hold off Washington to win that division. Not entirely convinced. I think it might come down as last 3 weeks.
Put up, if you can, put up the Commander schedule.
Oh, you want the Commanders up here. Hey,
because a lot of Commander fans are going. Yeah, a lot of Commander fans are going wacko. They think I'm seeing where they think Washington is going to be legit Super Bowl bound.
Well, I think they have a legit chance, but I would also caution those same folks that you generally have a sophomore slump for a great quarterback, which Jane Daniels appears to be just that. Rookie of the year, coming off a sensational ride to the NFC Championship game against those Philadelphia Eagles. They host the Giants. That should be a win out of the gate. At Green Bay is going to be tricky. Host Vegas. At Atlanta, rematch of that thrilling game last year that helped Washington get into the playoffs, that they pulled it out in the OT against Michael Penix, 2 of the young quarterbacks there going head-to-head. At Los Angeles. So 3 of the first 5 on the road, and they're not all easy road games. They're a tricky schedule out of the gate here, maybe a little trickier than Phillies. Then they host the Bears. They go to Dallas. They go to KC, host Seattle, host Detroit, who wants revenge, host Miami, host Denver. So how about that? They go from October 27th to not have another road game until they go to Minnesota December 7th. So they have a chance.
Whoa. Miami game. Is that over? That's overseas.
Well, they don't have a true road game in another venue, but it is correct. It is not. It is neutral location. I think it's one of the London or foreign games. But point being, they have a nice little chance there in that stretch, Seattle, Detroit, Denver, to get right if they get off to a slow start or have a couple hiccups. I think they'll get right in November into December. Then they close the stretch down at Minnesota, at the G-Men, host the Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. Their last 4 games are division games. So the NFC East, to me, is not going to be decided until the very end. It's not going to be a team running away with it because they have those division games at the end. They kind of backlog them. And the Giants are going to be winning the division, nor will Dallas, in my opinion. So I think it's a 2-team race. I think Dallas will be somewhat improved, not enough to be a division championship threat. And the Giants might be playing Jackson Dart by then at the end of the year. But I don't see them being a last team standing for undefeated purposes. Now, I'm not going to put it up on the screen because I know you will make fun of me and call me a homer and going into fandom mode. But the Arizona Cardinals schedule is pretty easy early on. We got a chance to be a little live early. We got the Saints, the Panthers, not the Niners is tricky, then Seattle, Tennessee, at Indy. It could be a little. Don't be surprised if the Redbirds a little surprise team out of the gate there.
Put your Cardinal schedule up.
You want it up there? Oh, look at you! You're gonna make me a homer now. Hold on.
No, because you want it up there, but you didn't want to put it up there, so I will allow you to.
I didn't want to be that guy today.
And I'm going to get you straight. I'm going to get you straight on what
since you are being demanding.
Put it up there. Put it up there.
It's up there.
I got this. Let me see what we're looking at.
Go ahead.
All right, Cardinals, ready?
Yeah.
1-0.
Thank you.
2-0.
Thank you.
Ooh, San Francisco.
You play them pretty well now, and they could still be dinged up. You never know. McCaffrey might be out by week 3.
Yeah, I'm going to go 2-1.
Yeah, it's probably a loss.
Seattle.
Should be a win.
3-1. Tennessee 4-1. Indy
Thank you.
5-1. Green Bay 5-2. Your Cardinals are going to open up 5-2.
Thank you. And then Monday Night Football at Dallas, who we tend to beat from time to time because
5-3.
token talks.
Not
They're not
beating
losing to Dallas.
No.
Give me that win. Come on.
You're not beating Seattle second time. 5-4. San Francisco, I'll give you a split.
Thank you.
6-4. Jacksonville, 7-4.
Well, let me stop you right there. That Jacksonville game, as weird as this sounds, because you look at all these other teams that are more – that Jacksonville game could be a crossroads game for both teams. That could be a real determining – and not as far as the team going to the Super Bowl, but for both of those teams in terms of they going up or down, that could be a real – circle that Jacksonville game as a game that determines a lot for both those teams. But go ahead.
So that puts them at 7-4. Tampa Bay, I don't know why I'm hesitating. 7-4. Is that Tampa Bay?
A lot of the road games for the Cardinals are not in tricky outdoor places. Look at that schedule. The only tricky outdoor place is at the Bengals late in the year, which is a flex game. But weather-wise, for an indoor warm, climate place, they got a pretty favorable soft schedule. I was very pleased. I can't lie to you.
I'm going to give you Tampa Bay 8-4, but you're losing to the Chargers.
We never beat. We don't play the Chargers. We play the Rams.
Rams.
Who own us?
Yeah,
the Rams have our number.
You're 8-5.
Yep.
You're at Houston. You are. I'm going to give you a slip up. 8-6, but you'll beat Atlanta 9-6. You're going to lose to Cincy 9-7.
But could win 9-10 games. It's conceivable. As crazy as I would have said to you a month ago, not a chance in the world. But now I'm a believer that teams got a chance to get above head over water for 500. Got a chance.
I would say again, all this has to do with barring injuries. So I shouldn't even say that. At worst, you should be at worst 6-7 wins, absolute worst.
Yeah.
But at your best, I could see 10 wins.
If Kyler Murray's not point shaven by then, be in good shape. So yeah.
Now, here we go, baby. Put them up. Put them up. Put them up. Come on, baby. Put them up. Where's my gloves? Raiders. America's team, baby. Put them up.
It's not America's team. It's like the Cowboys who think they're America's
team. I'm just going to make this one statement and one statement one time. Ask any adult, 25 and older, would you rather go to Vegas or Dallas? 8 out of 10 people are going to tell you Vegas. America's team, baby. Put them up. Let's go. Here we go. Put them up. Put them up.
You want
Fred
the Las
Sanford.
Vegas.
Put them up. Put them up.
Is that what Fred said? Put them up. Put up your dukes.
It's legendary.
See, the only reason he wanted the Cardinals schedule up, ladies and gents, was that he could look at his Raiders schedule. That was his.
It just came in my head just now. To be honest with you.
Yeah, it came in your head. We got to take a commercial
now,
break.
Raiders, you ready? Here we go.
Yeah,
Raiders.
At New England, who's improved. Drake May
1-0. Raiders 1-0. Chargers 1-1. Washington 1-2. Chicago 1-3. Indy.
I think you beat them.
2-3. Tennessee 2-.
No, you beat Tennessee. You beat Tennessee.
3-3. Kansas City 3-4. Jacksonville 4-4. Denver 4-5. Dallas.
Oh, there you go. Hold on. You were just talking about America's team. Another crossroads game. Hold on.
Take the game in, man. You talk too much.
I'm trying to tell you something. Stop a second. This is a crossroads game, just like the Jacksonville-Arizona game for both teams. It's a Monday night game in Vegas. It's a game Dallas fans believe they should win, and it's a game that probably Vegas fans believe they should win. That's a crossroads game, but go ahead. Continue on. I'll shut up.
5-4. They will beat Dallas. They will beat Cleveland 6-4. Won't beat the Chargers 6-5. Won't beat Denver 6-6. Won't beat Philadelphia 6-7. Houston, they're going downhill. They won't have much energy left. 6-8. They'll somehow rise up and beat the Giants 7. Lose to Kansas City. The Raiders are going to win 8 at the most.
7-6.
8, possibly 9 at the most. Can be as bad as 6 wins.
Could be as bad as 5. That division's hard. I think Pete Carroll will have them improved, and I think Genty is going to be a live Rookie of the Year candidate. But that division's tricky. Bottom line of it is this. I don't think you win the Dallas game, number 1. Number 2, you got 6 games against the Chiefs, Chargers, and Broncos. Any chance you win 2 or more of those games?
No.
if you don't win more than 2, you're not a playoff team. You got to win at least 3 of those 6 games to be a playoff team.
I hate to say this. They have a legit shot of finishing last in that division.
They probably are expected to be last in that division because of KC being a Super Bowl participant, the Chargers being a playoff team, and Denver being a playoff team. They're the only team in that division that did not make the postseason last year, and I don't know if those teams got worse and the Raiders got better enough for it to flip in any way where they would climb the ladder. So, yeah, there you have it. All right, we got Preakness picks around the corner. Stay tuned. It is 757 Saturday Sports Talk on CoVA Sports TV, where we are encouraging you to always drop us a comment, a question, a thought, anything you want us to highlight on the program. We are all ears for you. We did reach out to a couple of baseball coaches this week to try to get them on the program. One did not get back to us, sadly, of an undefeated team. The other one had his daughter's graduation up in Harrisonburg, so he could not come on, but wanted to come on. So we might effort him in the future or down the road. We will have some guests for you next week and beyond here on 757 Saturday Sports Talk. But let's hear a word from those sponsors that help make it possible for us to stream with you on CoVA Sports TV, including Chicho's Pizza. Stay tuned.
For any athlete, making it to the top sometimes comes with a few steps back. That's why parents count on CHKD Sports Medicine, advanced diagnostics, treatment, and rehabilitation for sports injuries just for young athletes like yours. With convenient locations across Hampton Roads and a whole team of experts here to keep your favorite player at the top of their game. CHKD Sports Medicine. Learn more at chkd.org or call the CHKD Sports Injury Hotline.
CoVA Painting. We don't just paint, we transform spaces. Visit covapainting.com or call 757-550-7357 and mention the Sportsplex for 10% off of projects over $1,000.
What's up at DQ? Oh, just the best deal ever! The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Bacon cheeseburger for a limited time, plus fries, drink, and a sundae. Yeah, this is not the time to be modest. It's all full size for just $7. And there's bacon on that burger. The $7 Bacon Cheeseburger Meal Deal. Now, for a limited time on the $7 Meal Deal lineup. Only at DQ. Happy tastes good.
What does happiness mean to you?
Being in the ocean with you, watching you catch super fun waves.
In Virginia Beach, happiness is breaking barriers and savoring the sunshine.
I couldn't pick a better place or a better person to be with. This is what makes me happy.
Happiness is going all out.
And taking it all in.
Here, happiness is whatever you make it. Find yours in Virginia Beach.
I grew up here. I know this town. I know the people here. More important, they know me. As a banker at Town Bank, we become part of the communities we serve. The people who bank with us, our members, know us. When you bank with Town Bank, you'll know your banker. You'll know you can reach us, and you'll know we're here for you.
James Catato tells us tonight there's a new team making new noise in the USL2 scene on the other side of the water.
Something special is brewing inside the walls of the Virginia Beach Sportsplex.
We're not here for moral victories. When we're on our day, we're a legit team.
See the stars of the future in pre-professional action at the Virginia Beach Sportsplex. This combined season ticket special is for men's and women's. That's 15 games for just $100 for adults and $80 for youth. VBU has a brand new women's team that competes in the W League. Soccer fans, it's time to rally behind Virginia Beach United. Tickets are on sale now. Visit vbunited.com. Don't miss out on Virginia Beach United.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's a passenger assistance emergency button right next to Coach Young. And trust me, folks, if you could smell what he's smelling and what I'm smelling. He wants to press it.
I thought this was a New York subway.
You are wearing a Yankee shirt.
Yeah, but you feel the smells on this one. Jack here this evening. Really, really different.
He might need to mask up.
You will be absolutely right. Yeah, mask up, without doubt. Hey, I gotta check me out.
Hampton Roads has a long-running high school and college sports tradition. It's time to give them the spotlight they deserve. This is 757 Saturday Sports Talk. Here are Matt Hatfield and Coach Ed Young.
Welcome back to 757 Saturday Sports Talk here on CoVA Sports TV. Like, share, and subscribe. CoVA Sports TV, which is also always got the mask, ladies and gents. Good for you. We're streaming on the YouTube channel on CoVA Sports TV, where you can also check out Virginia Beach United tonight and throughout the summer. Men's and women's teams, as you saw in our commercial. We're also on Facebook, IG, Apple, Spotify, Virginia Preps, LinkedIn, all the different platforms, X, Twitter, you name it. And you're always welcome to interact with us. Please let's not go back to that COVID era. That was difficult times.
You know what? When I put this on, only as a joke from what you just played, where we took the Tide last night, that came right to my mind about that COVID time. Yeah. We cannot ever revisit
well, we
that.
Can, but we don't want to, put it that way.
We don't. Now, there have been some times where I felt since then I needed a mask.
I know. we won't divulge or go into some
it's
of those.
A little different situation. We're talking about an era of that now when you go back to think about it, which I don't. For some reason, I guess, like most people, we want that so far out of our minds and how that changed the world. And that even you see today, it's crazy.
All right, let's do some picks and some breakdowns here in our final segment here. But let's start with the basketball, or let's start with the hockey, because the hockey has got games tonight and tomorrow. Basketball's just got a game tomorrow, and then not till Tuesday and Wednesday. So you got a gap of no hoops today, no hoops on Monday, which I'm sure my pops, Mike Hatfield, is loving. He'll be playing you soon, in fact, or fiction come June on Father's Day weekend. Tonight, game number 6. The Jets, the Stars in Dallas, where Hellebuck has not been as great. The goaltender for Winnipeg, who has pitched a couple of shutouts on home ice, including here recently for Winnipeg in their 4-0 win in game number 5. Also had a 4-0 shutout in game number 2. So if they get a shutout, they win. Duh. Otherwise, Hellebuck has given up 3 goals, 5 goals, and 3 goals in road losses. Actually, today, one was a home loss, but 2 road losses. He's had some bad efforts, giving up the 3 goals and the 5 goals. What do you think for tonight? Winnipeg or Dallas?
Dallas.
Final answer, Regis Phil.
Dallas. I'm going to go Dallas.
I think you're right. Game number 7 tomorrow. Austin Matthews and the Maple Leafs trying to get it done against Bobrovsky and Reinhart and the Florida Panthers, who have that championship medal. Believe it or not, minus 125 favorite on the money line. Slight favorite on the road in Ontario.
Panthers, as a team, I picked to win the East. So
they blow their chance last night, losing a game number 6 at home 2-0 after they just won in Toronto 6-1 in game 5. It was non-competitive. Figure this series out for me, because I sure can't. Maple Leafs squeezed by in games 1 and 2 by a goal. Then in game 3 in overtime, Florida survived, got the win, won game 4, won game 5. So think about this. Maple Leafs won the first 2. Florida won 3 straight, including an overtime game, smoked them in game 5. They come home in game 6, get beat. Now it's anybody's guess in game 7. Home ice, maybe not as important as home court or home field in a basketball or a baseball series. What do you make of it?
See, my first instinct, again, Florida, because I picked them to win the East. But they're not going to go back in game 7 in Toronto and score 6 goals again. And I can score 7, and I can score 8.
But maybe they win 2-1 or 3-2 or 1-0.
That was the number I looked in my head, 2-1, maybe overtime. But it seems like a lot of the experts are saying this is Toronto's year because they haven't been here in a while. And it's time. The hockey gods are saying it's time for a traditional long-term franchise like the Maple Leafs to whatever. But come on, all that's nice talk. It's the guys who got on the ice right now. What can they do? I give the advantage to Florida. I'm sticking with it. Close win, Game 7 on Toronto ice.
Listen, playoff history is not on the side of the Toronto Maple Leafs. As we showed it earlier on the ticker, Game 7s, Florida coach Paul Maurice is 5-0, almost like Peter DeBoer for Dallas. Game 7s, he's money, like 7-0, 8-0. Panthers are 3-1 all time in these Game 7s, 2-0 on the road. The Maple Leafs have lost each of their last 6 Game 7s, and they haven't been to a conference final, Ed, since 2002, which is going back as long as the Knicks here. But maybe it's the year of the Leafs and the Knicks. I do think the Maple Leafs got some life off the mat. They will pull it off and stun Florida. They're the home team. Toronto will take on Carolina to see who moves on to the Stanley Cup final. Just like I'm with you, I got Dallas getting it done to face Edmonton. And we get a Carolina-Dallas final, which I had when these playoffs started. Now to the National Basketball Association. Game number 7.
You forgot to say the league where they pay for
that's
play.
The NFL, the league where they play for pay.
But don't the NBA guys get paid?
They all play for pay now. I mean, come on, college football, it's all getting paid. Can't do that. In the NBA and the association, 3:30 Eastern on ABC coming up on Sunday. Nuggets, Thunder, OKC might be tight. Could be nervous. Are you frightened? Are you scared? They take on Denver, who's won an NBA championship with the great Joker, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. They got an interim coach and Rick Adelman's kid, who's not a kid anymore, David Adelman. This is Mark Daigneault's first big Game 7 with pressure. Thunder are a heavy favorite, Coach. 8.5 at last check. It opened at 7.5. 333 on the money line. And Aaron Gordon, who has been so essential for Denver in this playoff series. He's got 2 game-winning shots in this postseason. The Clippers game with the dunk in Game 4. The 3 to win Game 1 in that heroic comeback. He is highly questionable to doubtful with the hamstring. What do you think? Denver OKC Game 7. You said you had Denver in 7 when the series started. Are you going to stick to your guns?
I will stick to the gums because gum sticks to gum.
Not guns. You're going to stick to gums.
No, we don't use metaphors with guns and bullets in the metaphor. We can't do that no more. That should be outlawed. I'm going to stick with Nuggets. If Gordon doesn't play, and it looks like he isn't, that will, if he does, he's not 100%. That's going to hurt him. He's definitely a key guy for them. I think they can still do it. I'm not going to hang my hat on, the Thunder are just too young. They're going to be nervous. They haven't been in this kind of situation. Because sometimes those are the kind of teams that waltz right through. Because the old adage is they're too stupid to understand they're in dire straits. They just play. So I'm going to stick with the Nuggets based on being the veterans. I think the Joker has a great game needed. Jamal Murray, who played well but had been sick, needed, and we'll go from there. But I'm going to go Denver. I did pick them in 7. I'm not going to change it now.
You need gum? I got Trident. And I got Tropical Twist. Bubble gum, which one do you want?
I don't really chew gum.
You're not going to stick to your gums, huh?
Nope.
I'm going to stick to my gums.
Stick to my gums. I'm not going to chew it.
I'm going to stick to my gums and take OKC, baby. Thunder up. Thunder up. It's happening. Listen, I'm very worried, very nervous for you Thunder fans out there if this comes down to a close call in the fourth quarter, because you won your close call already in Game 5 at home. You got to stomp on them. It's like Ed Young. You got to stomp on him the minute you see him and not let him stick around. Put him out of his misery right away. Squash him like a bug. And I think the Thunder have an opportunity to do that. I think they have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, the thing that gets me about this NBA playoff, and I already know why. I'm not going to get into a rage on it or rant.
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
Too many damn days in between games. The Knicks and Pacers opened their series Wednesday coming up. The Knicks won last night. You could take Saturday off. You could take Sunday off. Pacers already have had a few days off. Why are we not starting Monday night? I know TV.
It's all about TV, baby.
I'm just tired of it. The NBA.
You can move to another country if you like.
I wish I was the czar of sports because I would put this in right now. Finals are best of seven. Best of seven. Okay? And we'll just take dates. We're going to play first two games, top seed, back-to-back. We're going to take a day off, fly to the other team. We're going to play 2 straight days, take a day off, play game 3.
Right.
So now we have played, let's say, 5 games. Let's say we're going 7. Okay? Then we're going to fly back to the other place, to number 1 seed. 2 days off. 2 days off. 2 days off. And play back-to-back. Game 6, game 7, back-to-back. Series over. So we have those 7 games played in what, 10 days? And
Something
we're off
like
to the next series. They play 7-game series now over the course of what, 16 days, 18 days?
They'll go Wednesday, Friday, Sunday for 1, 2, 3 Knicks Pacers starting Wednesday, which has got you irate. Quickly, Knicks Pacers, who you got?
Pacers in 7.
Really?
I want the Knicks. I'm letting it be known. Letting it be known from the start of the playoffs.
How can you want the Knicks? You're an alleged Celtics fan.
Because I got Nick Gear too. I want the Knicks to win it all right now. But I'm picking the Pacers. And if the Knicks beat them and get into championship against Denver, OKC, Minnesota, I'm picking any of those teams against the Knicks. But I want the Knicks to win it all.
So you're saying the Knicks have the longest shot to win the title?
Yes.
But I think the odds makers have them second to OKC at the moment and favored in this series. Listen, the Pacers are playing the best brand of basketball of anybody in this postseason presently. But what you just hit on, and I thought about it this morning because I was prepared to pick the Pacers in 6 or 7. This long layoff, think about it for a second. They won't play till Wednesday. So the Knicks get adequate rest. They get Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. That's 4 days. The Pacers last play, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? It's like a full week. They're going to be so rusty in game 1, which is an essential game. And unfortunately, though they're deeper, they shoot it better. I think they're more fluid on the offensive side. I think they lose us in 7 because I think they will be rusty in game 1, and the Pacers can either blow you out or they could also get – I think they could get pummeled in a couple of these games. So, thus, I'm going to pick the Knicks in 7, but I might root for the Pacers just to watch these very, very confident, bordering cocky Knicks fans kind of get their comeuppance here.
I'll give the Knicks fans credit. They haven't been in this situation in so long. And back in the day, you would almost expect the Knicks to be in the Final Four or chance in the championship. So it's kind of – and then it's New York, which the NBA likes because of the market. That's big. Out west, you figure Minnesota, Oklahoma City, Denver. Those aren't sexy cities for the NBA, for fan base for NBA. I think what they would have loved to see the Lakers, obviously. A New York, LA matchup is probably the best matchup the NBA would ever want in terms of your eyes. But it's kind of neat to see if the Knicks can do this, if they can. You know, the Celtics basically handed it to them, even though the Knicks won it. They did win it. I'm not saying they backed in, sidestepped in, whatever. But the Celtics just played some stupid basketball. And the Knicks took advantage of it. I don't see the Pacers playing stupid basketball. And I think you're exactly right on. Game 1, you could almost put it down. It's a Knick win. But I think the Pacers will right the ship quick. And what they present to the Knicks, the Celtics really didn't. And I'm going to be interested to see if the Celtics can do it, because the Knicks are going to probe the Pacers are going to probe the Knicks' weaknesses better than the Celtics did. Basically, the Celtics came in and said, "We're the Celtics. We shoot threes. We win championships. We're not changing," and they didn't.
Pacers shoot a lot of threes too, though. They do.
The Pacers, they get up and down as good, if not better, than anybody in the league. They don't necessarily rely on one guy. They don't have Jalen Brunson. Halliburton is good. He's not.
Halliburton. No, Halliburton. I disagree with you. I think Halliburton might be every bit as good, if not better, than Brunson.
I don't think he's going to be the scorer. He's going to be their leading scorer, but
I don't think he has to be. I think he has to be a facilitator and a playmaker. Where I could be concerned with Indiana is the ability to rebound, because Mitchell Robinson has given the Knicks something off the bench in terms of boards to go with Cat Towns, and they had that size edge over Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam. Although Siakam,
that's the guy, Siakam. But something tells me Julius Randle is going to stand out in this.
No, he's not, because he plays for the Wolves. He won't stand out.
I mean, not Randle. Who am I thinking about for the Knicks?
Like Cat Towns, who got traded.
You know what? I'm disappointed in Towns. When the Knicks got Towns, I was excited. I thought he needed a change, and I had these stupid visions of poor man Patrick Ewing. He'll be
no, he's a different type of player. He loves to shoot threes. Gosh,
then I started seeing him shoot the threes, and I said, "Well, that was a stupid comparison, because he's not that. He isn't." And this could be a chance for him to really stand out also in this series. But Siakam is a guy I've always really liked for Indiana, and maybe he could be the guy that will be the reason. Even though we all look at Halliburton, but they kind of spread the wealth in Indiana very well.
So as we get ready to close out with our horsey picks, Thunder, Wolves, Nuggets, Wolves. You got Thunder over Wolves, Nuggets over Wolves. What's your gut say on those?
Nuggets over the Wolves, Wolves over the Thunder.
Wow, you have the Wolves beating the Thunder. Wow. All right, folks, it is now time.
Horses.
Time to pick who wins the Preakness. Today, 9 horses at Pimlico. Your favorite is none other than Journalism, the number 2 horse. You got Sandman, who you love a lot. Your longest shot on the board is Pay Billy, the number 5 horse, along with Gosker, the number 9 horse. You do not have Sovereignty, as the Triple Crown is out of the mix. I mean, your win, your place, your show. I've got mine if you want to take a minute, get yours ready. I am ready to give it to you. Win, place, show, to give the folks the exacta, the trifecta, and even the superfecta. You want to hear it?
Bring it.
You're going to hear it whether you want to or not. So here we go.
That's what I'm saying. Just bring it.
I'm bringing it for you. Journalism is going to win this race. It's a foregone conclusion. So you get the 2. Will be number 6 horse to place, and to show we're going to go with Gosker, the number 9. So we go 2, 6, 9, and number 4 Heart of Honor will be your 4th. If you want to go superfecta. So your ticket should read 2-6. If you want exacta, 2-6-9 if you want a trifecta, and 2-6-9-4 if you want the superfecta. Go ahead, Eddie Mush.
Give me hesitantly want to say Journalism, but I'm looking at Sandman. Bring me a win. Journalism, Point of Honor, Sandman.
So you're going Journalism, Heart of Honor, and Sandman. 247. Aren't you supposed to know that's a competitor of us at Rivals? How dare you?
And give me 6 at number 4.
All right. 2476. You could have gone 2467, but you had to go 247. You're a traitor. You know that? For the traitor.
Just an honest. And the horse nobody's talking about, the number, is it number 9 horse? Number 8 horse. Clever.
Clever again is 8, yes.
Yeah. Clever. My eyes keep looking at Clever.
You can go get it. And thank you all for tuning in and interacting with us on this particular Saturday. He is the coach, Ed Young. I am Matthew Hatfield. We'll do it again next week on the 24th day of May, getting closer and closer to Memorial Day. And they'll be getting closer to Independence Day. And they'll be getting closer to Labor Day. All right here on CoVA Sports TV. Have a memorable day and weekend. And we'll talk to you next time. Adios, amigos. Be well.